right, joining us now is education expert Professor Graeme Bloch. Very good morning to you, Professor. Great to have you in studio with us. Are you welcoming this move? And the question is, why now? And I've said this before, and yesterday we spoke to Satu. I remember when I was in Standard 4, so in 1994, which is grade 6 right now, right? Standard 4. I remember doing Southern Sotho. I remember taking Zulu as well. And then suddenly it just disappeared off the curriculum. Why?
Look, I think it's fabulous, and I think we've got to get to know each other, and I think we've got to affirm the languages that people speak, because that's who they are. And I think, why now? Because I think there's increasing demands for people to understand that English is not the only world language. I saw yesterday kids in China at Chinese universities learning in Chinese. And we mustn't think that you can only learn in English, although English is obviously the world language that we have. And there's lots of practical problems, but you can't have change without problems.
Professor, why do you think this is happening now? Shouldn't it have been compulsory a long time ago?
Well, it's possible it should have been a long time ago, and we are seeing issues like the curriculum being overloaded. But maybe it didn't, and maybe it's good that it's happening now. And some people are biting the bullet, whether it's UKZN or whether it's at primary school, the Department of Basic Education.
I mean, right now it's only for grade R and grade 1 pupils, basically. Shouldn't it extend further than that?
It will have to extend, but I think one of the practical problems is getting teachers in place. And let's start where we can start and then move up.
Okay, how much faith do you actually have in our education system? I mean, we've seen a lot of trouble over the past while.
Look, I think there's a lot of trouble, but I think we've also got to say things have improved dramatically. Since 1976, when 1/4 of the pupils only went beyond primary school, and now we have everybody going beyond primary school. So I think there's a lot of change.
What do you think is going to hinge on making sure that this new program is a success? Is it going to be the quality of teachers?
It'll be the quality of teachers. It'll also be having a plan. And I haven't yet seen a plan forthcoming from the department.
Apparently this has been going on for quite some time. You know, we spoke to Satu, as I mentioned, and they say that they've been calling for this for quite a long time. So hopefully there is a plan in place. What kind of detail would you like to see in this plan where you'll be convinced that it'll work?
Well, I'd like to see exactly that we have enough teachers. We know that there are 3 teachers doing training in the Eastern Cape who are foundation phase Xhosa speakers. So there's a lot of issues that have to be dealt with.
I mean, government has actually said that there are enough African language speaking teachers out there, but being able to speak it as in terms of your home language doesn't mean that you can actually teach the language and make sure that pupils understand the language effectively. Is that right?
Pupils have to understand the language. We also have to know what's going to happen when the switch gets done, because people are going to have to learn English. Or everybody's telling us grade 4 is about the place that you need to start learning English.
All right, and I mean, the reality is as well, there's going to be 3 basically compulsory languages. There's going to be English, Afrikaans, and an African language. And starting out young is actually the best place. It's not going to be a problem for students, I would assume, or what is, from your expertise, from your side of things?
There are many problems, and I mean, we need to look at what's going to happen in the Western Cape, where people in Bonteheuwel or people at University of Western Cape speak Afrikaans. And are we going to have Afrikaans as a language of transformation? So I think there's lots of issues.
Do you think one specific language is going to be more popular than another in the country?
Well, we have 11 official languages, and all of the languages will have to be affirmed. And we'll have to look at different areas where majority languages are spoken. Maybe it's easier in KwaZulu-Natal, where isiZulu is clearly the dominant language. Whereas in other provinces, we're going to have problems, and in some of the urban areas, we're going to have problems.
And this is just for government schools. What about private schools? Do you think that the rules should extend there as well?
Well, I think private schools are going to have to get their act together, and they're also going to have to teach their kids how to speak languages that the majority of people in the area speak.
Agreed. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated for your time. Great to have you in the studio with us, and that was education expert Professor Graeme Bloch joining us this morning. Let's recap your headlines.
News that moves. eNCA.com.